I found my face on a missing poster dated for tomorrow. It was taped to the glass of my building's front door, right at eye level, and it was my face. Below the photo, in clean black type, the words "missing last seen 10/29, 9:17 p.m. were dated for the day after today. They used my full name and an old photo from my Facebook, the one with my stupid graduation smile. The last seen place was my own cross street, like I'd already taken the last walk I hadn't taken yet. There was a detective's number at the bottom, a city email, a QR code. My stomach did the elevator drop when I thought about someone printing this out and walking over here while I slept upstairs. I called the number and the poster right there in the entryway because I didn't know what else to do. The detective Ramos, a man, answered, and then, without me saying anything, he said, "Is this Daniel?" I pulled the poster down and took it upstairs, telling myself I'd laugh about it in 10 minutes and tape it back up. In my kitchen, my phone buzzed with a citizen alert. I swear said "missing adult, Daniel Vargas, Brooklyn Heights," before it blinked away like I'd imagined it. My coworker texted me a photo of another one outside our subway, with the message "Dude." Someone posted these all over Court Street. The description underneath my picture said "last seen wearing a green hoodie," and I was wearing my green hoodie. He sent another text a minute later. Wait, it changed. It says "blue jacket now, WTF," just as I was staring at my blue jacket draped over the chair I should have worn instead. I thought maybe it was some sick ad campaign, but the city email looked real. The QR code went to a Gov link, and the case number format matched the ones I've seen posted in diners. When I scanned it, it opened a preliminary report with fields for circumstances and involved parties, and half of the boxes were already filled. The timestamp at the top said 10/29, 9:17 p.m. like the posters, and the printed byline listed the detective's name. At the bottom was a signature that looked exactly like mine, down to the way I looped my G when I'm tired. I called the detective again because my hands were shaking and the coffee machine sounded like a heartbeat. He picked up on the second ring and said, "Daniel, we've been trying to reach you," except he said it like we'd already spoken today. When I asked him how a report could exist with tomorrow's date, he exhaled in a way that made the line go quiet. "A jogger turned in your wallet this morning from near Franklin Park," he said, and listed the exact cards inside that they thought I lost, including a coffee punch card from a place I hadn't been in months. I told him I hadn't been to Franklin Park in forever, that I was at home, that none of this made sense. He said, "Please don't go out alone tonight," and then the line clicked like he'd covered the receiver to talk to someone else who was listening. I put my phone on the counter and tried to go completely still, like the problem would forget me if I didn't move. That's when a paper slid under my front door and scraped across the floor. I didn't open it for a few seconds because my heart started thrashing in my throat, and I wanted to hear if whoever put it there waited. When I finally unfolded it, it was the same poster, but this one said "last seen inside residence, 7:12 p.m, with a note about a faint bruise under my left thumbnail I hadn't noticed until then. I dialed 911 because embarrassment felt safer than not calling anyone. The operator said units were already en route for a welfare check on a male matching my name, and then asked if I was alone. I said yes, and she said, "We have a recording of you calling in at 9:20 p.m. saying, 'I think I'm going to go soon,' and read me a transcript I hadn't spoken yet." My cheap little label printer in the bookshelf chirped, even though I hadn't used it for weeks, and spit out a strip with a square of static where a QR code should be. When I held it up to my camera, it opened the case report again to a section I hadn't seen called the live updates. The last seen in kitchen, typing on phone, the line said, and then the words blinked and updated, moved to hallway, standing by door. I turned my phone off and shoved it in the freezer to feel like I was doing something. The report still refreshed on the laptop I hadn't touched since yesterday, as if the case didn't need my devices to know where I was. I opened the whole closet and pulled out a duffel to distract my hands, while the cursor in the circumstances box blinked like it was watching me think. The live updates line changed to bedroom closet crouched. I pushed the clothes aside and stared into the dark until my eyes adjusted, expecting to find the camera I'd missed. Instead, I heard a slow exhale, like someone careful not to be heard in another room entirely. I don't remember deciding to leave, but I was in the stairwell, looking at a poster on the landing that used a photo of me walking down those exact stairs. The timestamp matched my watch to the minute. On the lobby door, the tape squeaked under my fingers as I peeled off one with a low-res screenshot of me from the security camera's angle, face tilted the way I was tilting it. It made me dizzy to look at the frozen version of me seeing myself. Outside, a bus stop pad screen glitched to my poster before flipping back to a shoe commercial. An AirTag alert popped on my phone. "AirTag found moving with you," and under that, the little map dot settled right on top of mine. I walked fast to the precinct with my head down and my hood up, because being around cops felt less stupid than what I was doing alone. The officer at the desk was skeptical until he pulled up a case file and frowned while reading a sentence that ended with a speaking to officer with swallowed tattoo on left neck. He touched the tattoo unconsciously like it was itchy, and then printed out the file and slid it under the glass. "Romo's retired 8 years ago," he said, but then he caught himself and stopped like he'd said the quiet part out loud. They put me in a plastic chair to wait while someone went to find a supervisor who could decide if the thing in my hands was a prank or a confession. The fluorescent light buzzed, and the clock read 9:05. The text came through from an unknown number with no message, just a 9:17. I left with the paper crumpled into my jacket because sitting still felt like waiting for a trap to set. In the alley behind my building, a woman in running tights jogged past and looked at me with the expression you give someone you recognize from a photo and can't place. I checked my inside pocket where my wallet always goes, and it was gone. My apartment door was slightly open, like I'd left in a hurry, and I know I hadn't. On the table was a clear evidence bag with my wallet and a tagging slip clamped under the zip, printed with recovered 10/29 9:17 p.m. by Jogger. The hallway outside creaked, and then a slow, courteous knock tapped 3 times. Something thin and papery shifted under the door like it was breathing with me. "Vargas," a man's voice called. "Detective Ramos." When I looked through the peephole, an older guy in a suit was holding a folder with my case report. The photo on top of the stack was of me at my own peephole. "Who keeps sending these?" I asked through the chain, because saying it like a question made it feel less like a trap. He didn't answer, but his eyes flicked past me to my kitchen like he was waiting to see if I would follow script. My label printer chirped again and spat out a new strip with one line, time of disappearance, 9:17 p.m. Location, kitchen window. It was 9:13. I edged to the window because I couldn't help it, because sometimes you do the thing you're not supposed to do just to prove you're still the one deciding. The fire escape outside had a fresh poster taped to the railing, my face black and white, the time rolling forward like a countdown. The window stuck halfway down, fighting me like it belonged to someone else. On the glass, 2 faces reflected in the dark, but only one of them tried to move away. The oven clock rolled past 9:17, and the second hand kept going, and nothing happened except the sound of paper rubbing against the door as the draft changed. I sat on the floor in the middle of my living room and waited for something to make a choice for me. My phone buzzed once on the table with a notification I couldn't swipe away. Case status updated, presumed missing at 9:17 p.m, last seen sitting on floor avoiding window. I don't know how to prove I'm still here to something that's already decided I'm gone.